with you. I'm so in love with you.
Alright everybody, so welcome back. As you can see, the car's in my garage now. We're going to start this build today. We're going to start out by taking the front clip off. Basically, headlights, bumper, and fenders are going to come off. I think for now, I'm going to leave the hood on, but if it turns out to be in the way, then we'll go ahead and remove it. I just don't want to risk damaging it because right now I'm by myself, but if I have a friend stop by or something, I might remove it then. We're just going to start out by loosening the lug nuts up on the front tires, and then what I do, because I only have 2 jack stands, I have 2 of the ramps that you pull up to change your oil on, so I jacked up the back of the car and put my ramps underneath the tires back there, and then I jack up the front of the car, and then I'll pull the tires off and we'll start pulling all this stuff apart. So all the commentary is going to be with the Sony camera, and then I think most of the video from me pulling the actual parts off are going to be done with the GoPro, and it's going to be sped up so you can see, you know, the process, but you're not sitting there waiting for 15 minutes for me to take 3 or 4 bolts out. So I apologize for all the cars driving around in the background. I don't know, all of a sudden my street is super busy, but so if you're curious about this build and what the plans are, like if this is your first time stopping by and checking out the video, check out the previous video where I talk about this car specifically and what my plans are for it. And if you're a returning subscriber, I thank you again for watching and continuing your support. So let's go ahead and start getting these lug nuts loose. So what I'm gonna have to do right now is just pull the bumper off. Now, as far as the bumper goes, this bumper is rigged on here, so it's not the way that it came from the factory. So I'm not gonna do like the removal process for the bumper, because more than likely, if you have one of these cars, your bumper is in there correctly. Which when we go to put it back on, everything will be right. But for right now, I'm just gonna take it off really quick. I'm ready to take the wheels off now. I want to show you this real quick. You couldn't really see it in the last video, but if you look at this Brembo caliper here, the paint's pretty much fading on it. It's kind of chipping off and whatnot. So, I mean, I see a lot of times that this paint just tends to dull out and chip off over time, but another person that I watched on YouTube said that this is a sign that your brakes have gone through some pretty intense heat cycles. So when you're looking at a car, before I bought this car I didn't know this, but if it has like high performance brakes like this, especially Brembo's, take a look at the brakes and see if you see any fading of the paint, because that's probably a good sign that the brakes have gotten pretty hot at some point. So plan with these are, take them off, and we're gonna get them powder coated the same red color. I like the Brembo red, and then replace the stickers, and then put on stainless steel brake lines. So that's down the road, but I just want to show you guys that real quick. Here is the intercooler I was talking about, and this is just one of the things. You can see where it was smashed up. Now I don't know if something was hit, like right here. I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but the intercooler is pushed up a little bit. I got this one right here, same exact thing from a guy on the Northwest EVO's Facebook page, for $40. Another area I wanted to address, and now I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty certain that these cars didn't come from the factory with like just regular hose clamps. I think they mostly came from the factory with this style, so I'm gonna go ahead and just replace all the clamps when I get new couplings with the bolt style. Here's a little trick, guys. On these intercooler pipes, what I like to do to make sure that nothing gets inside of there, I just throw some Harbor Freight gloves in there, just stretch them over the ends, and just a little bit of reassurance, super cheap, and that way I mean, you should be cleaning them out before you hook them back up anyways, but it's just an extra step. I really want to pull these headlights out because I'm concerned about damaging them. There's no aftermarket manufacturers for EVO 9s, and these headlights are super expensive to replace. You can only replace them with new, or if you can find somebody who has used ones for sale. But they're really easy to pull out. There's two connectors in the back, which you probably can't see, but simple enough, just like any other car connector. And we have a bolt here, another bolt here. This is the indexing bolt. And then right there, that silver one, that'll be the final one. So I'll pull that stuff out and do that on both sides. Get these headlights out, wrap them up, and store them away so they don't get damaged. All three of these bolts are just 10 millimeters, so go ahead and blast them out. I forgot there's one more right here. In order to pull off the fenders, we have to pull off the inner fender liners. So basically, there's this one 10 millimeter bolt, and then there's a bunch of these just little plastic poppers that you pop off, and then the inner fender pulls right out. And that's going to give us access to some of the bolts on the inside. So now we're ready to pull off this fender, and both sides are pretty much the same. It's pretty easy. There are a few things you got to do though to prep. We've already moved out the inner fender liner. That's just those little plastic poppers, and then you have to use your plastic popper tool to pull this one up and slide this seal out of the way. We're going to use a screwdriver with some tape on it. You pop this cover off. There's a bolt behind there. There's a bolt in between the door. You have to open the door up and get that one, and then on the very bottom, which you can't see, by the jack stand there's two more bolts. So we'll get all this stuff out, and then when you do pop out the fender, you got to disconnect the turn signal light. So all I did was take a flathead screwdriver, wrap a little bit of electrical tape around it, and that way you don't damage the door at all. Just pull it back. Oops. Try not to drop it because you're holding a camera in your hand. But be careful with these because Mitsubishi probably charge you $100 for one. So we got all the prep work knocked out. Easy peasy. So we got to take this bolt up. These are all 10 millimeter. That one. This one right here. And got this one right here, and your car door, you have to open up halfway. That'll be tough for you to see this one, but that one right there. And like I said before, there are two down here, which are going to be kind of hard to film, so I'll probably just do those ones off camera. But you just take your 10 millimeter, and when you get all these out, just be careful. You still got your turn signal wire you need to disconnect, so be careful with that. And the fender should come off, so let's get it off. So before we go any further, when you're taking these bolts out, guys, you notice that they have these washers on there. What these washers are for, they're a corrosion barrier between the fender and the bolt. So they're basically a sacrificial washer, so you want to make sure that you hang on to those, and when you go to reinstall the fenders, that you make sure that you put them back in there, or else you'll notice that your car will start to corrode even faster. But I'm going to keep track of them, but I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just order some new ones. I took the other bolts off camera. The one that is inside the door, you just have to crack the door a little bit, probably about an 8-inch extension with a 10 millimeter socket, and then these two down here. So we should, in theory, be ready to pull this fender off, which looks like we are. And the turn signal is just clipped in. Bam. fender off the car. Oh man, you can see how beat up that thing is. We're gonna fix it, guys. Just give me some time, I'll show you. I know this video probably wasn't the most entertaining for some people to watch, but the intent of the video is really for somebody who may have never taken a car like this, the front end of it off, maybe help them, you know, answer some of their questions, show them that with basic hand tools, you can do it. I mean, I know I used the little Hitachi 18-volt impact, but you could do this whole job with just a ratchet socket and a few wrenches. Very basic hand tools. The next episode should be out probably about a week from now. That's what my goal is. And I just want to take the time to thank everybody who's stuck around this long and watched it. I know we don't have a huge following, but hopefully that starts to grow a little bit with, you know, the next couple videos. So if you're new and you think this is something you might want to follow, there's more to come. Please hit that subscribe button. If you liked it, hit that like button. And if you didn't like it, go ahead and hit that dislike button. But just do me a favor, let me know in the comments section what you didn't like about it. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.